Good morning. Welcome to another edition of our Coffee Talk. My name is Susan Walker. I am the franchise owner here in Expedia Cruises in Red Deer. Super happy that you have joined us. We are in the middle of our legendary river promotion. It goes on until May 31st. And one of our super important partners in it is AMA Waterways. And with me today is my very good friend, Shauna Carter from AMA. Welcome, Shauna.
Thank you, Susan. And hello, everybody. I'm just so delighted to be joining Expedia Cruises in Red Deer today. And I'm also happy to be back in Alberta.
It was so good to see you last week. It was nothing better than the face-to-face, but until we can do that, this is working out okay. So we can get out to our amazing clients what's available to them, because I bet you a lot of people are surprised that AMA has been sailing Egypt for quite a few months now.
Yes, we started sailing last September and I'm so excited to come to this destination. We've been wanting to do it for so long. And we're actually now sailing. We have our schedule pretty much till the end of 2024. So
wow. So our clients can book. There's still limited space for 2022, correct?
Yes.
Some more space for 2023, but really probably 2024 is where people should be looking at to get something booked in now, because your ships are so small, right? There's only how many passengers on board again?
So our little Amadalia is only 72 guests at full capacity, so nice and small. And yes, it does fill up very quickly. But for those of you who are adventurous and want to go this fall, we still have some space here and there, and be a great time to go. But as Susan said, 2023, 2024 as well.
Yeah, because prices are going up, right? So if you're looking for a deal, make sure you give your experts here at Expedia Cruises in Red Deer a call, and let's start talking. But we're here because who just came back from this very same sailing?
Yes, I'm very lucky because I just returned. I was there last month with 13 of my closest friends. So maybe we could do this journey together. We've had it booked for 2 years, always planning to go at that time. And so this amazing trip is a 7-night cruise on the Nile River and a 4-night stay in Cairo at the Four Seasons Hotel. And then of course you can add on Dubai, Jordan, and Israel. And for anybody going, I highly recommend, if you have not been, to add in Jordan for sure.
You're so close there. You really have to go.
Absolutely. And if you have time, Israel too, but you know, that's up to the individual. But if you're only going to go once, I highly recommend that you definitely, include Jordan if you can. But this is an 11-night program, Susan, that's just everything's taken care of from beginning to end. If you really want to be fully escorted by AMA Waterways and our Egyptologists and our cruise manager, this is the way to go. And I really can't imagine doing anything less than a 7-night cruise, because there's so much to see on the Nile, and yet you still want to have time to just relax and really take in the view and just think about where you are in the world, and really so much to learn and see and do every day that you need to have that little bit of downtime each day for sure. But we start the journey in Cairo. 29 million people. You just cannot imagine this city. It's something you have to see to believe. And we have 3 nights at the Four Seasons right here on the Nile, the longest river in the world, staying in the beautiful Four Seasons Hotel. Pretty hard to take.
Yeah, pretty hard. The worst part of that is having to leave the Four Seasons Hotel.
Yes, it is. And we use the St. Regis in Jordan. So very nice accommodations. I want to mention the museum because this gets talked about a lot. We went to the Egyptian Museum, which is amazing. And of course, King Tut treasures is something to see. But there is the new museum, and I get asked every day, has it moved, or has it opened yet? And no, it has not opened yet. It's actually out by the pyramids, and as soon as it is open, we will go there instead. But for for now, as of today, the original museum is still open. And while you're in Cairo, you'll be seeing the pyramids, you'll have time there, you see the Sphinx. We'll even go to the beautiful Mena House for lunch, and so much more. But I want to keep this short just to give you a quick overview of the highlights, and then we're flying down to Luxor. So there are a few flights involved because you have to fly into Cairo, and then we're flying down to Luxor. And then of course we're boarding the beautiful AMA ship once we're in Luxor. And this is a 36 stateroom ship. And so sailing on the river the entire time on the AMA as we make our way to Aswan. And then we come back up into Luxor and fly back to Cairo for one last night there. And just to give you some highlights of the temples, the Luxor temple, when you're on the ship, you can see the Valley of the Queens in the distance, and we're seeing some of these temples right from the ship. And if they're not there, then we're taking our coach with our guides to go in. Queen Hatshepsut, this is right in the middle of the Valley of the Queens, and a very unique and interesting temple for sure. Seeing Queen Nefertari, this is an AMA exclusive because generally it's not included. You have to pay about $120 US extra when you're there if you want to go into King Ramses II. This was his wife, Queen Nefertari, and she was very intellectual and read and wrote, could write, and her beautiful temple. Each temple is like a book or a story of the people that are there, right? And so you get to explore this incredible temple and so much more. There's so much to see and do. I mean, I know we want to keep our story today short and sweet, but the Temple of Horus, and you come in and you, as I say, it's like reading a storybook because the writing is on the wall and all the drawings. And it's so amazing to think that you get to stand in front of this and even touch it, right? And think about how old that history is and where it all began. The joke was everything started in Egypt. So that was always our saying, oh, that was started here first in Egypt. And then we have a visit to Abu Simbel. This is the only tour of the whole program that we charge an additional amount for because it's optional. You do have to fly to Abu Simbel. It's about an hour out of Aswan. But this is where they dammed Lake Nassar so that they could build a hydroelectric dam. And that's as far as the Nile goes at that point in terms of sailing. And to come and see this temple that they had to move 200 feet up and 600 feet over to save it. Again, a temple dedicated to King Ramses II, and just a sight to see. So I would definitely do it, add it in. If you're going all that way, you don't really want to miss it. This is down in Aswan. You see so many different types of scenery along the Nile, and it's beautiful. Once you get out of Cairo and away from 29 million people and you get to Luxor, sailing on this river, which is green and clean and palm trees everywhere. It's quite spectacular, and seeing the people working in the fields and the villagers all coming out to wave. And while we're down in Aswan, we'll go sailing on the felucca boats, and we'll go visit some Nubian villages. And then of course we're seeing more temples as we start sailing back up out of Aswan and heading back up to Luxor. So Aswan is where the Hotel Cataract is, that Agatha Christie wrote the book Death on the Nile in that hotel. So lots of interesting stories for sure. Karnak Temple, one of the largest and quite spectacular. And standing there with some of these pillars, you just can't imagine how tall it is. And then we're back up to, sad to say, after 7 nights on the river, we're flying from Luxor back up into Cairo to spend our last night at the Four Seasons up there. And we'll have a day, touring a bit more of Cairo, but also having a lunch. They do a beautiful luncheon for us in the Abdeen Palace, the presidential palace. And so we'll tour the palace and have lunch. Again, this is not something generally included. So it is included. It's again worth about $120 US. So really nice to have it added in and included. And then our last night there before we have to fly either to Israel, if people are going to Israel, or back home. And unfortunately, we didn't have the time to do Israel. So I'm sure we'll return for that beautiful country. But just a really amazing journey. We're sailing pretty much September to May. It's always warm down in Luxor. Doesn't matter when you go.
Right.
It's Cairo and Jordan where the temperature changes quite a bit from warm to cooler, actually cooler. Okay. So as I said earlier, still space this year, next year. And, you know, there's a lot more to this incredible program, but hopefully that very quick look inspired you, but we can of course always talk more and share more if you have your wonderful clients who are interested in
exactly. This has been just to be a little bit of a teaser just so that you're wanting more. So thank you, Shauna. Yeah, I mean, that's a great job to talk about a 7-day trip in such a short period of time. So you did an amazing job. I know that this trip was fantastic. Egypt is safe to go to. It's easy to get to, or relatively easy to get to. And it's really one of those must-see places for the traveler that wants to get out and experience the world and bring home their memories, since we haven't been able to travel much in the last 3 years, just about, for a lot of people. So if you're interested in this one, I mean, of course, AMA sails all over. They do Africa. A few years ago, I took an amazing group of people to Vietnam, Cambodia with AMA. It was absolutely spectacular. So they go there, and of course to the rivers in Europe as well. So thank you, Shauna, very much. Thank you for taking your time out and giving us this little sneak peek of what it is like to cruise to Egypt and down the Nile. And we will have to get you back, hopefully maybe this fall, and to do a full presentation with some of your own pictures. That would be way too cool. So
I'd love to.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for tuning in for another coffee talk. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you're interested in this or any of the other amazing sales we can offer, please give us a call at 403-341-0177. Or as you know, our coffee is always on. Have a cup of coffee with us. Sit down if we need to. We'll get Shauna on the phone and she can go into further details. So until next time, thank you again, my friend Shauna. We will hopefully see you sooner than later. And everybody take care and enjoy this great weather. Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.